There's a new survey out. It says the average married couple talks for 4 minutes a day. And I'm thinking, is it really that long? You gotta wonder why people get married. I think a man looks at a woman and thinks she loves me. She adores me. She's just like my mom. Whereas a woman looks at a man and thinks, I can work with this.
Hi, everybody. This is the Funny Women of a Certain Age podcast. And what you just heard was the lovely and talented Jane Condon doing some comedy. And we are joined again by Carol Montgomery and Jane Condon for episode number. Hold on. Got the sound effect ready this time. Episode number.
You want me to make
who's the tech
would you
wizard
like
here?
me to make the sound?
Eight. Episode number 8. Yay.
Woo!
I'm going to make this thing work if it is the last thing I do. On my deathbed, I will be pressing a button to try to get a sound effect.
Was that like
Anyway.
roaster beans being grinded? I wasn't sure.
I think that
No, it was
was a drum
supposed to
roll.
be. Yes, it was supposed to be a drum roll, which
Oh,
I was
sorry.
playing off my smartphone, my phone, which is smarter than I am, clearly. So, welcome, Jane. Thank you very much for joining us. How you
Happy
doing?
to be here.
What's going on with you today? What are you doing?
Oh, me? Oh, just rehearsing my act. As I'm changing around some stories and doing
Yeah.
some longer stories. I was working on some video clips. I know you're not supposed to send them out on Monday night,
Why not?
but I'm going to. If you watch your analytics, Monday and Tuesday is kind of light for response.
Wait a minute. Analytics? There are analytics?
No, Jane is up there with Leanne with figuring out the interwebs.
Oh, my goodness.
No, there's a whole thing you could do that I just don't have the bandwidth for.
You know what? I'm not sure it's worth it. I'm starting to pull back from some of the extras. I'm on Instagram at jcondon4, but I've got 5 clips in my queue now, so I'm very excited because I don't like to run dry. I like to keep it going.
Sure, me too. Yeah. Except I have no idea what you're talking about, but absolutely, I'm right with you.
It's all about the algorithm, and we literally had the same conversation over the weekend, and you just don't know what's going to go viral. Like I was on Dina Blizzard's talk show. She has a morning talk show that she streams.
It's a
live.
great show. It's a
Yeah.
great show.
And she was talking about on TikTok, there was a woman who was building a fence in her yard, and she found a rug buried underneath there. And so she was doing stuff about what, because everyone thought, of course, there'd be a body in the rug.
Right.
Well, long story short, the woman had I think 6 million followers now. Because
What?
everybody was invested in the rug.
Oh, how interesting.
So, I mean,
So, no, look,
you just
unless the rug flies away with her on it, I don't care. I mean, who cares about a rug?
Yeah, but that's, yes.
I agree. And the algorithm keeps changing. That's
Yep.
also a
Yep.
thing.
You just never know what's going to hit.
I do mostly Instagram, and if I have time, I'll flip it over to TikTok because you got to back it up. You can't have the watermark on it. So I have to do the original video and then type in all the stuff again. But I did something about being from Brockton, Mass, South Shore of Massachusetts. I got 200,000 views. Like, I don't even do TikTok.
Right.
And somehow it must be an underserved population.
Okay.
that many people listened in.
You never know.
Yeah.
And so do you get money for this? What do you get for all of these views?
It's actually good, the number of followers you have. I did the Burbank Comedy Festival a while back, and the wonderful Barbara Holiday, we always love women owners of comedy clubs, said, it's great you guys have all these late night credits, but I want your social media numbers now.
Right.
That's what
Yeah.
matters.
Oh, boy.
Social media numbers.
So the way to get social media numbers up is to be consistent and to post frequently. I don't post frequently. I like to post on story, just say what happened that day, and then it disappears. I like that.
Well, the good news for me then is I don't have to worry about not having late night credits. So I'm already ahead of the game, right? Fantastic. I'm halfway there, kids. Man, oh man. Carol, how are you doing today?
I'm tired.
Mhm.
But I'm always tired. You know that. I'm tired. But
You were traveling over the weekend?
Yeah, we were traveling over the weekend, and it just, and it wasn't far away. It was in Jersey and Philly. You would think that I would be fine, and I woke up this morning like, I just want to sleep. So, but my body's changing. It's not, it just doesn't do what it wants me to do anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you
Welcome
can
to the
take a nap
world of
later if you want.
naps.
oh, I'm
I
definitely
was
going to nap. But then, but right after this, I have a phone call, that a business call. So and then of course, then I'll nap. I always nap. I have my husband and my son now nap, and they were both non-nappers, and they're like, "Why didn't we do this before?" I said, "I've been telling you this because I've
How
always
long?
napped. I've
How
always
long do you
napped."
do?
Huh?
How long do you do?
Um, it,
Because
it,
mine varies.
yeah, mine varies too. I mean, if I have things to do, if I'm busy all day and I need to lay down, I do a military nap, which is 20 minutes, and that usually refreshes me.
Yeah,
'Cause I remember
it's
one time,
amazing.
huh?
I only started about a year or two ago. It's amazing to me. I wake up and I feel, whoa.
Yeah,
I
it's amazing.
yeah.
So,
a military nap sounds like something you have to do standing up at attention.
well, that's why it's called a military nap, because the boys and the girls in our military, they'll be on a plane and they're sitting, a C-130 that does not have,
Yeah.
reclining seats, and they just
Hmm.
fall asleep with their gun and their backpack, and they just fall asleep. So I learned how to do that when I was doing the military tours. I
What
literally
was
Wow.
time.
what was your favorite of your military tours? I know you did a lot.
Um, I think the first one was probably my most favorite because it was the first time we went. That's when we went to Iraq. But then I
Wow.
think probably when I went to Korea, because I went there because my dad was a Korean war veteran, and
That's
I
cool.
flipped off North Korea.
Did you
Oh,
go
so
to
it's
the
your fault.
DMZ?
Oh yeah,
Did
we
you?
were in the DMZ and everything. It's really quite fascinating. When you go into the DMZ, they never used to do this, but they lock the other side. Like you're like
Oh,
you walk in through the South Korea side, then the
yeah.
soldier goes and locks the other door, which is North Korea, and
Oh,
and then they go, okay, come on over, you're in North Korea. And the reason
whoa.
that they lock it now is because the North Koreans were opening the door and grabbing people and pulling them into North Korea.
Oh
What?
no. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oddly, they do that at the DMV also. They just they grab people
Oh
and they
my
pull,
God.
Listen,
That's
lock the doors.
hysterical.
the only reason I'd want to be pulled into North Korea is because they're so thin there that I would lose all the weight, because they don't eat anything.
Yeah.
What do they eat? They eat gruel every day, and their
Yeah.
leader is 800 pounds.
I think you'd have to change your haircut though. I mean, isn't there like a required
Yeah,
haircut in North
but it
Korea?
was really quite interesting because we were standing waiting to go in because there were some actual government people there when we were there, and the soldiers would peek out to look at us.
Oh.
And it was like the munchkins coming out of and they're looking at us and everything. I'm like, you know what? Someone's taking a photo of me, and it's going to end up on some fucking donkey cock. Like it's going to end up, And then when we went into an area, and they said they're looking at you. There's cameras everywhere, and so I was like this. You can't see that. I was flipping them off because it was very near where my father was injured.
Oh
So
man.
I felt it
Wow.
was only fair to flip them off.
Yeah, totally. That was a really rugged war. I heard it was very cold. They were fighting during the winter, Korean winters. Wow.
But yeah, it was well, all
All
war
war is
cold.
rugged. Yeah.
So
I was going to say, yeah, which one wasn't?
yeah, yep.
The war between the sexes, the War of the Roses? No, that one doesn't count.
The war against
Um,
women, stuff like that.
That one's pretty rough. Even my war against mosquitoes. I am, by the way, death to mosquitoes where they live.
Okay.
I will stay awake all night to chase and kill a mosquito. I'm basically a very nonviolent person, and blood generally makes me sick. But if I see my blood coming out of a skeeter, I'm happy. I'm a happy gal.
Do you know that it's
Also,
only the females who bite you? They're getting
I
blood for their young.
I understand that,
Really, I
but
did
you
not
have
know
to kill the
that.
males too,
Yeah.
because if you kill the males, then there's no more young.
Right. That's good.
So death
Yeah.
to skeeters. Period.
Yeah. I
Now
hate
I
that.
must.
They
I
love.
must.
Do they love you, Shelley? They love me. They find me. Nobody else will
Yeah.
kill a mosquito. And
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm hoping to get the word out among them. That they should avoid anywhere around me, but they don't seem to listen. Now I have to apologize before we go any further from my voice because I checked the pollen count today and it's not high, but there's work going on in my building and outside my building. So I expect that's what I'm breathing in.
Oh, the
I mean, I
dust.
don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dust, asbestos, lead. I don't know what it is, but
Well,
it's
when we
making me a
lived in
little.
Vegas, there was so much construction at that time because Vegas was up and coming when we lived there. That Todd, who never had asthma, that's my husband. He got asthma, and the
Wow.
doctor when we were in Vegas said it's because of all the dust particles in Vegas. And we came back to New York, and he's fine.
That's bizarre because I was just reading that the Bronx has the highest levels of asthma in the country.
Yep.
And I mean, I know you don't live in the Bronx, but it's strange that you come back to New York and you get rid of asthma.
Right.
Todd
He got
is
rid of asthma. We moved into this apartment with his mother, who was a smoker for up until like 10 years ago. She
Yeah.
was still smoking, and he was fine. It was very bizarre.
wow.
I have no idea.
So smoking is the cure for asthma. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, everyone light up.
Okay, public service announcement. Funny Women of a Certain Age does not recommend smoking as a cure for asthma or at all. Please check with your doctor. Your mileage may vary. So Jane Condon, I met Jane. When did we meet Jane? Years ago, years and years
A
ago.
long time ago.
Yeah, and I have eaten some really good meals thanks to Jane
Oh,
because there's a holiday luncheon that we go to, and boy howdy, I've had some good food because
Oh,
of
at
you,
the
Jane. So
Friars,
thanks for
right?
that.
well, you
Pardon?
made some good jokes there.
At the
Well,
Friars.
yeah, I have to pay for it somehow. Yes, yeah, at the Friars, and also what was it last year with the Harvard Club? I think it was. Yeah, so I'm.
2 years
This is
ago.
the only time I eat well is when I'm with Jane,
The
and I
popovers
appreciate
are
that.
good. Anytime.
Sure. Sure. I love it because, there's dessert. There's always dessert. So Jane, what are you doing? I know you're working on something fantastic.
I'm
Gotta
sorry,
be.
you're going in and out here.
Am I? Oh, it's because I keep moving around. I need to sit still before my microphone. What do you have coming up, Jane?
Oh gosh, I left the schedule in the other room.
Okay,
let's
that's
see.
fine. I'll ask you something else.
No, it's okay. October 20th is Danbury, Sunday Night Comics.
Is that
Mhm.
And
at the
in No-
Palace? Is that at the Palace?
No. I don't know where it is, but boy, was that a great show, Carol.
That was a
Oh
great
my
show,
God.
Palace.
That was such a hot show.
Oh.
Carol got them so up. I'd never heard any female comedian or actor ever say their age on stage. And Carol is up there saying, I'm 60 something. And I just thought that was the bravest thing I ever saw. And I just recently on the Ellen DeGeneres special, which is actually very good, she said, I'm 66. Anyway, in between these two data points, I started going on stage saying, hi, I'm Jane Condon and I'm 73. And they cheer.
Yeah.
They cheer. It's good. So when I'm 84, this is going to be fabulous, And I also say, I said, thank you for having me. 'Cause for me tonight, it was either here or assisted living.
That's a great line.
But
That's
thank
very
you.
nice.
Thank you very much, Carol. I think of you every time I say that
Aw.
my age, because you know what? When I saw you embrace it, I thought, damn, I'm going to do that. I'm going to embrace it. I don't know where it's going to pop up in my act, but let's just say it, everybody, and because 60s, 70s aren't so bad anymore. Actually, 60s were my best decade. I really did love
Really?
my 60s. No, serious, because you don't give a damn.
Because
I
you
don't give a
use
damn
it.
what other people think about me,
Right.
except half the time I can't hear them. That may be why I can't. But you're raising your family duties are over. You're free.
Right. True.
I honestly thought of my 60s as my teenage years.
Wow. Wow.
That's just because I could just I could put myself first for a change.
Yeah.
As we should.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jane, you're a respectable person.
I try.
What there has to be something about you that is not respectable. What is it? What thing would surprise me to find out about you?
He's a
Oh,
meth
my.
addict.
Yes, again. I like Fig Newtons. Not a lot of people know
Oh, wait a minute. Breaking new ground here.
that.
Breaking new ground. You
No, I
like
think-
Fig Newtons?
But let me be more serious. I think I've started putting it back into my act. I used to have it years ago. But, everyone thinks of me as like the Greenwich mom. And actually, I'm from a real blue-collar town in Massachusetts called Brockton. And I like to say I'm from Brockton, but I'm not going to hurt you. And now I'm letting my Boston accent come back into my act when I say anything related to Brockton. And it's just so freeing because that was my mother tongue. But we had a
Your
holiday
mother?
in Brockton with a big sign. Have your next affair here. And that's how I used to talk. Affair here. I don't care. Not my sweater. Do not be a douchebag. Douchebag is one of the best words in the English
love that
language,
word.
I think. I also like retard, but we had to put it on the shelf. But we never meant it was about intellectual capability. It's just, there's some people who are retards. It just Carol would
With an
not
AHD.
Oh yes, and the other thing I'm going public on is about being ADD, and there's no how do you say scientific diagnosis. I'm just going on my scatteredness that perhaps I can laser focus if I love something, if I'm passionate about it, like comedy. I'll just put vroom into it. But then, like, if a fly goes by, I'm like, I'm just eminently distractible. I feel like
Ooh,
I'm
something
Scooby-Doo.
shiny.
Something shiny. That's the people. That's and I see. Well, I should have known because years ago my little one was diagnosed with ADD. Well, now they have an H. I've been around so long. We had no fucking H. No, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's
Say
fine.
that it's you. Remember who it is.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Is that okay? That's it.
Absolutely.
Oh, so I have
Say
to
whatever
tell
you
you.
want.
So little story. This wonderful women's group, Fairfield Community Foundation. They have the Women and Girls Fund. So they asked me if I'd be the auctioneer, and I said no. I hate asking for money, and I hate double dipping. People already paid for a ticket. Why are you going to put your hand in their pocket again? But then they said how much they were offering to pay me, and I said, well, of course I'd love to come. But and it was kind of dull going along. I mean, it was sincere and heartfelt and wonderful, but kind of dull.
What were you auctioning off?
What was I auctioning off? I think this was just a straight money one. You start them like at 1,000. Who wants to give 1,000? Like, I've done all the other ones. The live auction, like they hold up a picture of a week in Jamaica, and they okay, everyone here. How many people have gone to Jamaica? And they all raise their hands. I said, okay, but how many people are willing to spend money to send their mother-in-law and a friend to Jamaica? Then I get the people. But anyway, I forget what. Now, see, now I've forgotten what I'm saying. This is the other thing about ADD and aging. Both of them. I'm thinking I need a teleprompter in my act. That's what.
We were
I was
talking
thinking
about
that
that
too.
last night when I was working with Anita Wise and Julia Scotty, and we
so
were
wonderful.
talking about teleprompters. That's so funny that you said that because you just do. I mean, I've had that happen before where I've forgotten. It's only really happened once where I had to stop and go, I don't know where I am, and
the bottom drops out. It's quite
it's
unbecoming.
Nerving.
But I have a game plan when I go in like a coach, just a couple of words outline, and I just skip to the next chunk, or now I've started acknowledging it because, when you say how old you are, they've got to cut you some slack.
Yeah, but this time was one time where I know why it was. It was an outdoor show. It was so hot, and I overheat really, really badly, and it got so hot, and I just stood there, and I just started talking to people because I didn't know where I was. I didn't know where my material was, and my husband. It was funny. He happened to be in the audience. Of course, he knows because he's seen me. But he said, nobody else noticed it. They just thought I decided I wanted to talk to people.
That's the other go-to is just go into the audience and start talking to them.
I've been hearing people say that that talking to the audience, or as it's known by some in the business, crowd work, has become a crutch for a lot of people. That they don't even bother writing material anymore. They just figure they'll just start talking to the audience.
I don't agree with that. I mean, Paula Poundstone does all crowd work. Todd Barry does all crowd work. These people are high wire acts. I find it to be the bravest form of comedy. A little back and forth, but when they go again and again and again, just keep going, and then trying to tie it all together at the end.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Carol?
Well, the king of crowd work is Jimmy Brogan.
Oh,
Jimmy Brogan,
know
Shelley, is a comic. He's been around forever. He used to book the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. He doesn't really look like Mr. Rogers, but he gives that folksy vibe.
Right.
So, and he'll He'll literally talk to every single person and find
Wow.
out and make a comment, and then at the end he comes back to every single person and ties it
It's
up in a little
amazing.
bow. And
I
it's
have nothing but respect for these crowd
brilliant.
work people.
No,
And
yeah,
Jesse Curson.
but what I know what Shelley's talking about. A lot of people are using it as a crutch. You know, they're just trying to get a clip that's going to go viral. That is it in a nutshell.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
that
because-
algorithm thing again.
Yeah, because there's comedians, like I know a couple of comedians that post their when they fight with hecklers, and
All
they
right.
and I'm at the point of my life where someone heckles me, I just stop and I say to the audience, okay, we have a moment in time now. You can either do one of two things. You can watch me go back and forth with this guy, but you paid a lot of money. You took
Oh.
you were parking and the car and dinner and a babysitter. I said, or you could use. I can ignore him, and you can listen to what you paid for. And of course,
I bet-
they all start yelling at him. Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah.
There was
So
a guy-
you get them to police.
right.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
That's a brilliant comeback.
And
Yeah.
most of the time it is men, except Friday Late Show when it's a bachelorette party, and then you're like, oh, please, please.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of clips and YouTube stuff about, comedian destroys heckler. That seems to be the thing that people
Yeah.
want to
Yep.
to be able to post.
Yeah.
And that
they
must
don't like
do something to
posting
the
their
algorithm,
real
right?
act. They don't like posting their real act. They just want to do the in the moment thing. I will post some of my real act because I got nothing to lose. I mean, go ahead and copy me. I'm an idea machine. I'll just keep writing new stuff.
And you talk about things that happen to you. So if it doesn't happen to them, you can't use it, right?
Yeah.
Well, but
When
I love this story. When I was a young comic, I was in LA at the Comedy Store, and back then the Comedy Store comics were notorious for stealing material. And I was sitting outside, and there were comics hanging out. And Sinbad, who was nobody then, he was just another comic. We were sitting around talking, and he was so sweet. And I said to him, I'm afraid to do my material here because I'm afraid they're going to steal my material. And he said, which I think is still the greatest quote. He goes, Carol, they can steal your material, but they can't steal you.
yes.
You know? And then years later, I ran into him. He was doing Gotham Live, and I was there in the audience, and I went up to him and I told him that. He said, I said that? He goes, that's a really good quote. I said, yeah, I know. So, you know, who cares? I mean, it used to be back in the day that when you did your spot on Johnny Carson, you didn't do that material again because everyone had seen it. Now it's like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everyone's recording all the time. Everybody's doing clips. Everyone's doing specials.
True.
True.
Although, some of us still haven't done the Tonight
But that's
Show.
okay,
Just saying.
Kelly. You shouldn't have to do it. Do you know? Like
You don't have. You can post it on social media.
Yeah, people have said to me, when are you going to do a special? I said, if I ever do my own special, it's going to be called the Carol Montgomery Ordinary. Because it used to be like, I'm sure you both remember when Carlin would release his special, it was an event.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
When it was a big deal when Carlin did that. And he was the only one doing it. And now everyone's like, I have a camera. I'm going to go do something. And it's very annoying to me.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, I want to do something that I haven't done for a bit with you folks. Jane, as I'm sure you have been interviewed hundreds, if not thousands of times, and there are always questions that everybody asks comedians. So I'm going to ask you one, and you can answer it as sarcastically as you like, or wrong answers only, whatever you want to do. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jane, what did your parents say when they found out you wanted to be a comedian?
I don't have a funny answer. My dad died when I was 15, so but that wasn't the big problem that made me a comedian, though. My mom, I started going out. It was in the 90s. I started going out on Wednesday nights to an open mic at Treehouse. She was living with us because she was dying of lung cancer, and both my parents had lung cancer.
Wow, when you say
And-
you don't have a funny answer, you mean it. Go ahead.
But I remember she looked at me quizzically, like, why are you? Well, I'd really sort of slip out on a Wednesday night, but like should be here to cover, because my husband used to travel all week. So at first he didn't even know it was happening, and I thought I'm just going to get it off my bucket list. But what was the question? So,
How did your parents respond when they found out you
so I
wanted to be
remember
a
sitting
comedian?
her down on the front steps of the house and saying, she said, "What, Janie, you used to be a respected journalist. You wrote a book. Why are you doing comedy?" She wasn't saying stop. She was just curious why. And I said, "I don't know, Mom. Sometimes you have to chase your own rainbow. It's just something I wanted to do." And unfortunately, the first time I got up, Johnny Rizzo, who was one of the kings of comedy, or at that time he was the king of comedy in Connecticut, I came off the stage afterwards and he said, "You're pretty good, kid." He said, "Get out of this business while you still can, because it's very addictive." And he's totally right. Totally right. Nothing better.
Okay, so your parents really had nothing to say about it.
No.
Okie doke. That's a perfectly respectable
Well,
answer. You are a
sorry.
perfectly respectable person, Jane, so I would not expect
Sorry
anything
about
else.
that.
Oh, please. Oh, please. So I got one for you too, Carol.
What? You
I
want
got one
me
for you
from
too.
me?
I have a different question for you.
Oh, can I answer that one?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
So it's kind of like a double story. So my parents never came to see me. They would never come to see me. And I was working at Catch a Rising Star, and I was given a spot. Like usually back in those days, you never knew if you showed up at the club. You either got the opening or the late night spot, and occasionally, if somebody wasn't there on time, they would put you on. So for some reason, I forgot why I had an actual spot. Like they told me I was doing a spot. So I told my parents, and they came into New York City. Now, if you know anything about people from Brooklyn, they do not like to leave Brooklyn. Drove into the city. They got parking. They came to the club. They were so excited. And I was about to go on, and Richard Belzer walked in.
Oh
Oh.
no.
Yep. And they had the
Ouch.
best time because they got to see Richard Belzer. And then years later, I said to my mom, I said, "Why didn't you guys come see me at the beginning?" And my mother said, "Daddy didn't want to, he expected you to bomb."
Nice.
Yeah, they have very supportive parents. But when I did my first TV show, which was a show called Comic Strip Live on Fox, this is back in the day before there were cell phones or everything. So I knew that it was airing. I was out doing a spot in Los Angeles, and I called my dad on a payphone because he had watched it, because it was like 11 o'clock at night in New York and 8 o'clock in LA. And he said the sweetest thing to me, because now I know how a father feels when his son hits a home run out of the park.
Oh, that's
So
Wow.
he
wonderful.
did a complete,
180.
but
That's great.
stand up is such a bizarre. I mean, now it's not, but back then, my dad was a teacher. My mother was a homemaker. We went to public school, and we were Jewish kids in a Jewish neighborhood. And the thought of what's a comic? What's a comedian? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I should have been married and living in New Jersey.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. I should have had a good, steady city, state, or federal job with a pension. That was my mom's whole goal for me and my sister.
right.
My sister did it, and I, as you know, am not that.
What did
I
your
am hanging
parents say, Shelley?
My dad wanted me to be a director.
Wow.
He thought that I should be a director, like a
director
theater
in
director.
theater and film.
A theater director, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
My mother thought I should be a lawyer, and I disappointed both of them. So my mom was actually afraid of me doing
Yes.
comedy. She was afraid
Yeah.
of me going to clubs at night. Poor lady. But again, I didn't do anything she wanted me to do. So she wasn't
I do
really
think-
surprised.
Look, as parents, I can tell you, Jane, I'm sure you're probably similar in this sense, that you just want your kid to be happy and safe.
That's right.
And you see them going into, like, Lane, my son now manages a big club here in New York City. He doesn't get home till 5 a.m. I don't even, not that I don't worry about him. I mean, but it's like that's his job.
Yeah.
He's one of the New Yorkers that works late, and I just have to get used to it. You just want them. Like, would I prefer he had a job where it was daytime? Sure, but shit happens in the daytime too.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, my mom's thing wasn't so much happy. It was safe. Just be safe. That was
Just
what
be
she
safe.
cared about.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, I grew up in the 60s in Brooklyn. It was not the safest time. And then going to school in Manhattan in the 70s, again, not very
Not the
safe.
safest
So I
time.
gave the poor woman many, many, many gray hairs
Where did you grow
just
up in
by
Brooklyn?
doing what I wanted.
Where in Brooklyn?
Pardon?
Where did you grow up in Brooklyn?
I grew up in a part of Brooklyn that didn't used to be called anything, but now is called Prospect Lefferts Gardens.
Okay, I know exactly where
Yeah.
you are.
Huh.
I know exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, I was half a block from the subway, which was very convenient, and 2.5 blocks from the police station, which was even more convenient.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
Okay.
see
So,
now, but just one thing, Shelley, about Brooklyn. See, because we're old school Brooklyn. I am so
Right.
sick of this gentrified coffee shops and IPA beers. I'm ready to kill them all. It's just like, you guys are not from Brooklyn. You guys are, this is an illusion of something that is not Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I think they're not from Brooklyn. They're
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Brook. They're from Brooklyn.
Yes.
It's more like a brook than the
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, like Brooklyn.
I-
You guys were from real Brooklyn.
I was from
I'm from real Brockton.
Right.
But
Sure.
anyway, Carol or Shelley, one of you should do a chunk about that, about real Brooklyn and Brooklyn now. I just think I would.
Well, I haven't really done a chunk, but every so often I'm like, when I do play Brooklyn, I go, I'm from real Brooklyn, not you little fucking man.
That's it. That's what I'm looking for.
The little man buns and like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you have any organic or
yeah.
gluten free?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I do a little bit about that, but sometimes I don't want to offend my audience, On the other hand, I should, because I'm from Brooklyn, and that's just how we roll, right,
Yeah,
Carol?
you have a
Exactly.
right to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Real Brooklyn.
I have a right to offend people.
Here, well, I know what you mean, but like, don't worry about them. Show us your world. That's what we want to see in the audience. I'm just speaking as an audience member.
Uh-huh.
And I don't, me, I'm like, you don't want to laugh? Fuck you. You know what? I've been doing this so too long, ladies and gentlemen. I remember one time I was at Dangerfields and there was a teenager in the front row and he was just not having any fun. He was with his father and he's playing on his phone and I said, put down your phone. He wouldn't put down his phone. So I took his phone away from him.
Good for you.
And I said to him, I said, I'm not going to do what I want to do, which is put it down my pants and take a picture and destroy you for the rest of your life. I said, I'm just going to put it on the piano. And I continued my act. And he was so angry at me. And he was just giving me dirty looks through my entire set, didn't say a word. And finally, I just leaned in the middle of my act. I said, do you think I even fucking care what you think about me? And after the show, do you want to know something? Because I gave him back his phone at the end of the show. But when he was going out, he said, I'm sorry. I was very rude.
Oh, what a good boy. He was educable.
Wow.
I had a one-person show and
which was amazing.
I was always grateful you came, Carol, because then you knew the real me. And this kid was on his phone. And I'm getting to my heartfelt stuff about my brother. And I just couldn't stand it. So I went down into the audience and I took his phone and I got back up on the stage and I mimicked that I was going to throw it like to the end of the theater. And I said, like you, I said, that's what I want to do, but I'm just going to put it here in my tote bag. And, I don't remember that person so much as the other person who came up and said, like if you have mental illness in your family, she just said, it's just nice to know I and my family are not alone. So she made up for all of the bad behavior.
Yeah, but you really do. I mean, Shelley, you're still, because you're younger in the game. Still, like you, I think you still worry that and you shouldn't, because it's the essence of who you are.
Listen to Carol.
Listen to Carol. Listen to Carol.
Well, no, but listen, Shelley, I would love to hear you go on a rant about anything. Like, do you remember how, like, Louis Black found his persona? I think he was at Stand Up New York, and someone said, you're really, on stage you're kind of nice, Louis, but off stage you're kind of
Right.
a little bit of a curmudgeon. He went up on stage. It's like 15 years into it. It was like a light bulb going off.
Yep.
And now he's Louis Black. So don't care what they think. I know, be respectful, be polite, but you're up there to tell your story.
Yep.
We did not pay to see Normal.
Right.
Nobody pays to see Normal.
I mean, but also it's because comics that talk to me and they go, "Oh, but I'm afraid to do this because if I offend somebody." But you're going to offend somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of comedy, is to make people, like George Carlin, who of course one of my idols, but he used to do a bit about that we were raping Mother Earth, and it was a very harsh bit. And he kept saying the word rape, which is a harsh word to begin with. And one of my dearest friends called me, goes, "I just saw George's special, and he talks about rape." I said, first of all, number one, yes, it's rape, but he's talking about raping, the earth. And number two, if you don't like it, turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it off. And in this day and age with social media, like I had a woman one time, you've all heard me do the joke where I say, when people say, "What's your skin regimen?" and I say it's semen. So I do the joke, and then I always find somebody who's older, and I'll say, "You look amazing. You must use semen too." So this woman came out after me, after the show, and was like, "That was disgusting. I hated that." I went, "What do you want me to do about it? It was a joke." Like, I don't,
Sorry, gang. We had a power
I'm so
outage.
done with everyone having an opinion on what they think
dear.
we should do as
Trying
comedians.
to reconnect.
That's
Yeah.
what we do. If you
Mhm.
want to complain about what's going on in the world. There's a lot more shit happening than whether or not a comic is saying, "Oh, you have cum on your face."
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair point.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't want to keep you any longer because you are very busy people with very busy lives, phone calls, naps, all kinds of things coming
I
up.
think Jane is frozen.
Jane, are you frozen?
Oh,
Jane has gone away.
we lost Jane.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Well, perhaps she'll come back.
Okay. Well, we can talk about her. I love Jane. One of the things about the show, the live show especially, is, a lot of the theaters always want the people that have been on the specials. But I have gotten a great group of people who have not done the special, including you, Shelley.
Thank you.
That are just killers, really killers. And it's so much fun, like Jane and Missy Hall and Anita Wise. These are women that were not on the specials. Felicia Michaels, Kathy Ladman. And it's just so nice to have, yes, of course, the specials, there's that, that, "Oh, you did that. Who cares?" But it's really always been about having these killer women on the show. And so it's great. It's great to have them. And it was great to have Jane wherever she is.
Okay, well, I don't want to keep you either, Carol. So I think we will end it here.
But I will plug, we will be in Livermore, California, October 26th. Then
Right.
November 10th, the Suffolk on Long Island, and then the Flying Monkey on November 16th in Plymouth, New Hampshire. And it's all
Fantastic.
rotating cast and all that stuff.
Yay, we lost you for a moment, Jane, but we talked about you, so it's fine.
Yeah,
That's
I talked about how great you were, Jane.
Thank you. Please make sure this was recorded then. I need all the praise I can get. I love compliments. I live for external validation. But what was I going to
Shelley,
say?
you've been doing a great job, and it makes my life easier knowing I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's great
Thank
to
you.
just show you're a born radio host, Shelley.
Yeah, all right.
Well, I do work in radio, so I kind of have a leg
Well,
up.
and you have the radio voice. When you first, asked me to be on them, they're like, "Oh, this makes sense. I forgot about because I'd forgotten about your radio background. This is perfect."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
have
Thank you
to
very
plug
much.
Jane, so plug away.
Yes.
Oh, plug. Okay. Please follow me on Instagram at jcondon4 because there are 4 of us in the family. Let's see. I'll be in Florida the 15th and 16th. Anyway, just follow me on Instagram because that's where I
Because she
live.
needs the numbers, and that's where
She needs
the
she
thing
needs
is,
the
the
numbers.
algorithm and all of that.
I
Yeah.
do
And
need
now,
the
Jane, I will
numbers.
tell you this one thing before we go. So far, all of our guests have been given an honorary title. And Carol, you may know, is Her Grace. Leanne Lord is Her Majesty.
You
Who
are.
was just Your Eminence. Barb North was Her Eminence. And you, I have decided, are Her Highness, the Queen of New England.
Wow.
We don't
thank
have a
you.
queen,
That's nice.
you know, since the Queen
Thank
of
you.
England is not that queen anymore. She's the other one now. But you are Her
Oh,
Highness Jane Condon, Queen of New England.
oh, I'll take it. Oh,
So you'll
oh,
have to
well
put that
said.
in your Instagram and your LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Wait a minute. Say it again. I'll make a video out of this. Have you got a light on your face?
No,
this is how
don't
Jess-
make a video. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay, say it again. What am I?
Jane Condon, Her Highness, Queen of New England.
Yay!
No, you have to do the Queen wave. This is the Queen wave. That's it. There's the Queen wave. All right, Your
Oh my
Highness.
God,
All right,
that
Your
is great,
Grace.
Shelley. Thank you. What a nice compliment.
You're
The
welcome.
Queen in
All right,
England.
ladies.
Okay,
I will
love you
post
both.
this and I will connect everything with links and whatnot. Have a wonderful afternoon. And
Thanks.
everybody else, check with us again. Follow us all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you. That was fun.